Then I won't harm the two people you love most in this world.
He's got your parents.
Behold!
Hey, it's me, Jack Black.
That was good. There we go. Sorry. I do love Jack Black. Jack Black is one of I feel like Jack Black, while he's still regarded this way, I feel like he's kind of in the same category as Keanu Reeves in the sense that he's like an unambiguously beloved, like just sort of wholesome media guy who just exists and people are just happy he's there. He's much better than Keanu. Well, the difference is that Jack Black is edgier and Jack Black is like a holistic entertainer. But I'm talking about like the attitude people have towards him. Jack Black is like a true blue entertainer in a way that's just not seen that much anymore, where he just exists to make people laugh. And like that's like he's not like an actor who does a movie every once in a while, you know? He just broadly does whatever. As long as it's entertaining people, he does it. Kung Fu Panda, though? Well, he does act. I just mean, like, that's not, you know, it's not the only... Yeah, he's Jack Black, yeah. Pick of Destiny's funny as fuck. Yes, it is, and it's a great soundtrack, too. No, it's good. Jack Black's good. I feel like the Jack Black love is going to go way back up after the Super Mario movie comes out, right? Because he voices Bowser. So I feel like that's going to be another, like, resurgence of people loving him for that. Because I'm sure he'll do an amazing job. There's an unironic thirst for Jack Black, too. Yeah, Jack Black has always been, like, a very specific kind of guy. And the people who are into that kind of guy are into Jack Black. You know what I mean? He looks pretty damn good here. Damn. Lost weight here. Whatever. He's got that big personality energy. Yeah. What are your thoughts on Chris Pratt as Mario? I mean, they're complicated. I think Mushroom Kingdom, here we come. It wasn't as bad as I was worried it might be in the worst case scenario. On one hand, you can't have somebody doing the full-on Mario voice, because as anybody who's, like, heard him scream, Super Mario Galaxy! When opening that game up on the Wii, listening to a full movie of somebody talk like that actually would be tiring and irritating, and if you disagree with that, it's because you're a psychopath. They couldn't actually go that far. So they had to dial it down a little bit. But Chris Pratt is too, like, we could have done so much more, I think. Chris Pratt looks overrated right now. Well, yeah. Keep in mind, though, that the discourse on Chris Pratt turned not because he showed up in everything, but actually because of two main things. One, his support for an anti-LGBT church that he goes to. And two, the fact that he did like a creepy sexual harassment thing when he was working for Parks and Rec, when he was on Parks and Rec. There was a scene where the character, Andy, was naked and someone opened the door to see them naked. But of course, in reality, the actor's not supposed to be naked. They're supposed to be wearing the stuff that actors wear when they're like fake naked that covers them up only a little bit. But when he opened the door, he was actually naked. So it was kind of like him flashing everyone there. Hog out bricked up. I do not think he was bricked up. Anyway, after that stuff came out, or after people started talking about it more accurately, that's when discourse on him really shifted. Chris Pratt does look like a guy who'd flash people. Yeah, I wonder how much of this is pre-existing bias. If it had been somebody like Jack Black, who in a movie or TV show in the early 2000s did a bit where he, like, was actually naked when his character was supposed to be naked, like as a bit, and it was kind of like weird and inappropriate, would people be more willing to forgive him because they have a more generally positive attitude towards him? Like if he was filming The Pick of Destiny and there was a scene like nudity, but he actually did the nudity. It's like, oh, Jack Black's dick, but then like he went on, like is he still like flashing people technically? But it's like, okay, Jack Black was being a goober, it was inappropriate, but this isn't like a long-standing predatory thing. Would people have been more willing to forgive that? I don't know if I know of any other stories of Chris Pratt being like predatory. So yeah, I don't know. I've said this before, but a lot of this is like the charitability feed loop, and this affects me and people's perceptions of me a lot. Where if if you can have like a single action, right here, where if people like you, they're willing to believe it's kind of like an edgy joke. And if people don't like you, they think it's actually problematic. So you can have like two people make the exact same joke and get different responses to it based on how you perceive their behavior to be. Which is one of the reasons why like if a gay person who you like a bread tuber, makes a joke about being homophobic, you guys get the bit. It's like, haha, like plenty of queer people would say that they're homophobic as part of a joke. But if Matt Walsh made a joke about him being homophobic, then it would be like, okay, well, he actually is homophobic, so that's just more evidence to him being homophobic. And so the less you think of somebody, the more likely you are to interpret the same action as being negative rather than positive, and the negativity that you interpret from that action makes you more likely to interpret them negatively in the future. So it's possible to have a feedback loop going where you have like you have like two people who do 100 actions, both identical between them, but in one of them, those actions are causing you to hate and distrust them more and more and more, and in the other one, it's causing you to think they're funnier and funnier and funnier. You know what I mean? Like it goes in like the different like directions based on the exact same behavior. This is one of the problems that I have with people's perceptions of me, I think, where like there are lots of lefties who make jokes that are about as problematic as the ones that I make. I listen to their podcasts, I watch their videos, and it's like there are plenty of edgy jokes about like gay people or trans people, and I've heard edgy race jokes being made by white people in a respectful context. The edginess isn't problematic. The edginess is just like it's a joke. It's not like a racist joke. It's an edgy joke where race is the subject of discussion. But if I make those, it's like, oh, well, he's not joking. He's actually being racist. So it spirals further down here. I see this happen all the time. It's very frustrating because it's like damn it. I see you guys make the same jokes. You can't give me shit for that. And before women shut the fuck up challenge comments. Oh, well, that's unironically a perfect example. Jokes like, haha, women are dumb, are like fodder for trans women. Because trans women like engaging with self-demeaning misogyny, because when they do so, they're affirming their identity as a woman in a context that is comedic, because it's funny, the premise of using misogyny, a reactionary ideology, to affirm trans positivity. That's like the inherent contrast. That's a joke, you know? Trans women make lots of jokes about, oh, well, I'm a woman, you know, haha, like, oh, I'm being dumb, or oh, I'm so forgetful. I love shopping. You know, it happens all the time. Trans girls are very repetitive with their jokes. But that's fine, you know, because it's interpreted charitability wise, like much better there. And then on the other side, it's like, oh, well, if I made those jokes, it's actually trans misogynistic, or I'm actually being sexist or something. Yeah. Okay, but do they say the kind of things you said about that authentic observer chick? Because that seems to be the kind of stuff they get mad at the most. I don't know who you're referring to. Who's the authentic observer? Fucking not. DM, you're a cut above the majority of fucking trans girls on Twitter, okay? But I stand by my broad comment. The Angloid you called a slut? A slut? Oh, was this the person who dressed like a Mad Men cast extra? And she was doing this big, like, feminism bit, but it was, like, turfy. And the whole point of the feminism bit was, like, I am feminist, and I support women through my feminine energy by being a matronly woman and being a lady, and look at my lady outfit and my accent or whatever. So I made a bunch of jokes about, like, her wanting to live in Mad Men, including, like, oh, yeah, dude, like, fucking... She fucking wishes she was getting, like, being a secretary getting sexually harassed, dude. The woman experience, haha. Because she was making a bunch of dumb fuck comments about how, like, socially normalized elements of, chivalry, I think. She was like, essentially making the argument that there's an essential femininity encoded within, like, the trad values that people project onto women, which one of those would unquestionably involve that Mad Men, like, casual sexual harassment thing. I think my jokes were fine there. you know, but she got her knickers in a twist over it. You know how women are. She was talking about Galadriel. Oh, right, yeah. Her what? Her what? Her what? Her what? Where's my handkerchief? Fucking dabbing sweat all on my forehead. May I suggest a change in word choice? Man, that's been a phrase for decades. Don't get your knickers in a twist. Do you have to do it in a British accent so it like sounds less? I can't even say, you guys were sussing me when I said nega Scott in like Scott Pilgrim. What Scott? What Scott? What Scott? Well, what am I supposed to say there? Can I say anything? Can I say bigger? What can I say? Save me. You guys could not handle the stresses involved in live streaming, okay? Everyone thinks live streaming is easy until you realize that like there are 1,000 people watching. Not 1,000. There are 100,000 people watching at all times who despise you. And if you ever say anything they don't like, they'll try to ruin your life over it. It's a difficult bit. Rigor? Oh yeah, I saw Joseph Anderson had his own version of that because he did one of those BDSM kink quizzes, and it found he was like 100% a rigger in that he liked rigging, like with rope work, like he was the top in that arrangement. So he was like, "Oh yeah, they say I'm a rigger," and then everyone in chat lost their mind. Joseph Anderson's great. Yeah, I love him. This is giving me heart palpitations. Yeah, imagine doing everything that I just did in the past minute, knowing, as I do, that I misspeak constantly. I stumble over my words more than anyone else I know who doesn't have an actual speaking problem. And I'm just juggling over here, you know? Hey, just me juggling some like you know, lit bottles of kerosene. Having a good time.